It's a nice view up here. I don't come out here that often. Something I noticed about being above street level is when you see people walk by, no one ever looks up. You know what I mean? Like no one ever looks up. I'm always looking up. Fucking always. You know, I'm like going into a clearing, a building in full metal jacket. I'm always looking up at the fucking sky. I am incredibly paranoid though, so. Had to get out of my apartment. Doing laundry up there. Because like most of the shit I have is like stuff like this, like, you know, I need to go to a laundromat for that. So I just, you know, soap them down, hang them up around the apartment, in front of a fan, you know, in the doorway, whatever. But sometimes it fucking stacks up in that laundry basket, and I end up having a bit of a situation where I got to do a lot of stuff. And there's so much laundry hanging in my house right now. I had to get out of there because I was afraid Chinese people would come in and try to gamble in the bathroom. But yeah, it looks fucking mental in there. So I haven't been really talking about probably the most significant spiritual warfare story because like everybody else is. So it's like whatever, the fire, and plus you know, it's an ongoing thing, and I don't really have a fucking good take on it, except in my opinion, I mean, it's being done. I think it's interesting that the houses that are being burned are some famous celebrities, Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg, houses that are like ash. It's almost like they're trying to get rid of evidence or something, which feels like that because a couple of days ago, the P-Gate guy who showed up with the gun at the P place, I gotta be careful I say all this stuff, to do a private investigation. He was a complete setup. He's an actor. You could find his stuff online. He's probably using crisis stuff, but do you have an IMDb page? I think he might. Yeah, he's an amateur actor. Whatever. But the thing is, around the time that was all blowing up, and a way to protect themselves and to get some security there was to do the PSYOP, where just this concerned citizen went down there with the gun and he shot at the place, and when you know it, one of the bullets hit the hard drive of the computer they had in there with all this stuff on it. How can you imagine it? What a lucky shot. It's like they do it to humiliate you, you know, like ha. It's just such a ridiculous story that they know, you know, it's bullshit, and they do it to put it in your face, you know. But yeah, so that was so transparent and stupid. But because they did that, it then allowed social media platforms and other local lawmakers or other people in the fucking lawmaking machine to write up all this stuff. Like, wow, this guy tried to do this, we have to protect these people. So they added a layer of security all over everything that wasn't there before. Of course, not to keep them safe from lone gunmen, but to keep them safe from people looking into their shit, you know? It's all transparent, it's all obvious. That was a big thing for me too, the P-Gate thing, because it was really, I don't know if I had this notion before that, but I remember as it was unfolding, I'm thinking, well, if I know all this shit, if I'm getting all this information fairly easy, and all these other people are talking about this shit, then certainly people with means, with resources, wealth, good men, right, that have the ability to do something, will do something, right? I mean, someone's going to do something, right? And when no one did, it was like, oh, you know, that was a big thing, because it was like, shit, There are no fucking good guys. There are no good guys. We're here in the torture chamber. Bunch of fucking sickos. We were the only ones. You know, we were the only ones that were going to do anything. You know? It was a fucking... felt really bad. And as the days went on, a lot of stuff was coming out that I was collecting, and a lot of other anons were collecting too, and just, you know, basic people researching the situation. A lot of things were available then that you're not going to be able to get a hold of now. Whether it's information about, I guess, what was going on at the place itself, stories, eyewitness stuff, some paperwork. Then you have the frazzle drip thing going around, if you know what that is. I've never seen it. I never saw a link to watch it. But I saw a guy posting on 4chan that had, and he uploaded a couple screenshots that I kept and I had for a while. And they weren't really, I mean, especially today with this AI thing, they can say anybody's anybody and they can say it's bullshit, but they weren't too revealing, you know. But I kept them. You could see one of them, you know, without getting too into it, is the person in question associated with that, her and her aide. And one of the pictures I had, you couldn't make out what the fuck was going on about anything. It was just people standing over something, and the anon was trying to explain what it was. You know, he was really nervous about having it or having access to it. And people kept telling him, post more screenshots, you know, but he wouldn't, whatever, you know, people are. It could have been a glowy, just to, I don't know, just to muddy the waters. But one of the photos, one of the screenshots, is a woman who looks like the principal in this situation. And I don't mean the school superintendent. I mean the main character, the main focus in this. She's sitting on the floor, right? And she's got a black narrow aid, a pretty good sized one, in her right hand, and in her left hand she has the leg of what looks like a very small person. So she would be the person, you can only see the leg being pulled open. It looks like she was putting them akimbo, kind of like she was spreading their legs out, but you could only see it up to like her knee, or a little bit above her knee. She was wearing a white beater, like a tank top, and like black pants or black skirt. Looked black, I don't know. She was sitting either crouched on the floor or just sitting on the floor. And you could see her aides, half of her arm and head next to her, sitting next to her. I forget what kind of else was in that picture about the details. Anyway, it was just creepy. It's weird, like just from looking at it, you felt some kind of dread. At least I did. This stuff is all frequency, you know. You can feel this stuff. So that video actually was brought into the police station because it was part of Wiener's laptop. This came after the original PG stuff, but it was on his, when he got busted for his thing, but it tied back to PG because it filled in, you know, some blanks for people. There are easily found PG photos of the sort of aftermath of this thing, where they're just sort of hanging out. They look like they're resting, or like they look high, because, you know, they probably were laying on like a ping pong table. And it's the same room that's in the restaurant. Just by looking at it, you see there are these big screens, you know, like they have in the restaurant, and they're sitting in there. It's them just sitting there after whatever they did, what they did. And yeah, crazy. There's a lot of stuff like you could get, you know. Those pictures of them resting after the fact are pretty available, I think, still. If you know, use Yandex, if you're going to look for stuff like that, I wouldn't suggest you look for anything like that at all. You know, and there's nothing there. You're not going to get anything out of it. There really isn't anything. I mean, in my opinion, you know, maybe a better researcher or someone with more knowledge of being fancy on the internet might be able to get something out of it. I'm not telling you not to. I'm not the fucking mainstream media. I love that. It's important to understand you should not be doing your own research. I remember at the time of PG, they were saying people caught viewing material related to PG could be liable for arrest and imprisonment. It's our job to look at this stuff. Fucking arrogance to these people, you know. Just saying it. Just saying it. I mean, we've seen a lot of examples of that before. That it's all coming down though. It's all ending for them. Like I've said many times over the years, the beast, no matter how much or how bad things seem, right, are out of control, it's only because the beast is going into the pit, right? It's going down to the pit, and it's waving its tentacles everywhere as it goes down, trying to smack anything it can, to hurt anything it can, or to take anyone it can with them. They know they've lost. Their goal is to get as many of God's children to go down into the pit with them. You know. Now their minions don't think they've lost. I don't think he's told his minions. It's so weird because I'm looking at this. A lot of us are from a situation where we know what the outcome is going to be. Yet he still has people working for him diligently, doing all this shit with the expectation that they're going to get the rewards or boons that they were promised by Satan. But like they're not gonna. Like, how do I know all this? How come they can't figure that out? And why would you make a deal with him anyway? There's a lot of stuff here that, you know, activates my almonds. And then you think, well, what? None of that really matters. They're just doing it to torture you for loot, you know. You know, the primary thing here is to drain your energy, to empower themselves. So it's a loot farm, you know, and that's their main goal. Whether or not they get some sort of reward from Satan is secondary, because they need this. They need your energy to survive, because they can't produce this energy themselves. They're not divine. They're not the progeny of God like we are. So they need us to do it, so that they can have what they want. So they can empower themselves here in this realm and do all their evil shit and live like fucking, you know. I try not to let it get too much in my head. I mean, you gotta balance this stuff out. You know, it's in there. There's a lot of stuff in there. And going back to the PG thing, it's like seeing all this stuff and seeing that no one was coming to even say anything about it. There was one guy, one local news affiliate guy, that he started doing an expose on it on his own. And I remember Ben something. Ben, what the hell? That doesn't help anybody. But it was a local, like, affiliate. And he had a little feature that he would feature stuff. And he did a feature on it. Like, is this real? You know? And he was just putting the basic information out there. And the basic information is pretty damning. Well, he vanished from TV. And on his Facebook page, he left a quote from Sun Tzu. So, it didn't look very good. I think he did eventually pop up again years later, but he wasn't talking about that at all. And he certainly was not on that news affiliate any longer. He was just taken right off. Now, how does that happen? How does that kind of failure happen? You got to ask yourself, like, was he supposed to do that? Was he allowed to do that? Because you think the vetting that must go on with these people to get these robots in these positions that they're reading the news, some of these people aren't even real, in my opinion. So it's like, how does that happen? Like, a local affiliate hired this guy, you know, he was a journalist before that, and he probably had some kind of name to him, like a journalist with some kind of work that he did that was significant in some way, and maybe that's why they hired him, and he wants to keep doing his expose stuff. But he should kind of know that what is off limits. I mean, even anyone would know that. I'd know that. You know, if I had that information, you can't go on TV. It's like people that say you should go to the cops about anything, you know, involving any kind of moving of people or children. You know, you take their information to the police. It's like, you know, the police are the same people. It's so stupid, because for me, it's not stupid. People don't know, because people don't understand the level of deception they've been living under. You know, you hear a lot that old mantra, like, why would they do that? You know, in response to something that the government did or something that goes on in the local area. Why would they do that? And that doesn't make sense to people. And it doesn't make sense because you're thinking from a sane kind of a rational, mostly good perspective, you know? So of course it sounds insane. Somewhere, right? Somewhere inside, if you have any kind of shred of humanity, something is telling you, yeah, that kind of sounds right. That kind of sounds possible. But you're afraid of that. You don't like that. You can't face the horror of that. So what do? You fucking just make fun of someone like me. Fucking conspiracies, that's fucking crazy. Schizo. Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I'm also right. A little bit of graffiti over there. Fucking that Kang's a ball busters, man. I don't know if you've heard the story, I'm sure many of you have. There's well, I mean, now, right when I'm about to tell my story, I can't because this happened. Truman Show. It's a Truman Show. This building here is having a graffiti war with the town. Ever since we started getting the Amish moved into the neighborhood, fucking airlift dropped in, we've had an explosion of graffiti. Not the kind of good graffiti art that a lot of great artists around here do, where they're commissioned to do walls and stuff. I mean Kang shit, the Kang scrawl. Misspelled words, lots of crowns. You can't see it now because we're on this side of it, but right above where that blue and white lip thing is, well, let me just fucking walk over here instead of trying to explain it. Yeah, so they've been going back and forth. They'll fuck it up, do shit up with their retarded, misspelled words, and the town will come around and clean it. And then they come around, do their thing, and it's been going on since they moved here. So now we got this little thing here. See it? It's like, because they're every time they put something on, it gets cleaned off. So the little pricks are like, oh, we'll put it up here just to bust their balls. I'll explain why that happens, or at least I believe why that happens. It's a concept that's adjacent to the broken window theory, which is absolutely alt-right. So, you know, it's not a good theory, and if you talk about it, you're the bad man. But basically, it's about feeling comfortable. The friends I have that talk about the problem with me, that have seen it and watched it unfold, they say a lot that they don't seem like they're comfortable here, and I don't think they are either, because it's so foreign. First of all, everything's nice, right? It's all nice, it's all bright, there's a lot of life here. The only crime here is the crime they brought. 80% jump in homicide in 1 year, almost 50% jump in other violent crimes in 1 year. It's hard to find the statistics now. Like, that was from 22 to 23. I can't find shit because I don't think they want you to find it. There's something called Crime Stoppers Hawaii, and me and Neil would laugh at it because it was like, Crime Stoppers, this man is wanted for slashing a tire, or this woman was shoplifting in Kamakee, like real minor bullshit. And they would plaster these people's faces on newspapers, like, I don't know, shame them or something. Every foyer you went into, had like maybe local papers that had that right on the front. They would do Crime Stoppers on the news all the time. Hawaii Crime Stop. It was just a funny thing because it was like all bullshit stuff, you know. They don't do that anymore because people would be like, what the fuck? What? You know, because they would see it would be the same people all the time, and the crimes would be much more severe, and people might start asking like, when did this happen? Wait a minute, when did they get here? You know, they gotta hide that. They gotta hide that stuff. But graffiti is part of making them feel comfortable. I'm not going to go into the whole psychological fucking reason, but basically they feel more comfortable when something's run down or when the building has a broken window. They feel like there's less of a chance of someone coming along and saying, what are you doing here? If they can shit a place up, well, I belong here, see? It's sad to think that way about yourself, but that's what it is. You know, but yeah, I don't know. They were saying it feels like, I do notice that there seems to be a rotation. All the people that get jobs in these places from that group, like Ross, you'll always have them working there, but different ones. Like they can't keep the same people, which is, you know, typical, of course. You know, they don't last anywhere too long, and my friends are hopeful that they'll be like, fuck this place, you know, because it's so foreign to them. But I don't think that's going to happen. They're here. They're not getting out of here. How would they get out of here, you know? And the government would just bring more in. No, this is the fucking kill phase plan. This is happening everywhere. It's not just here. It's just that it's really extreme here because it's an extreme addition here because life was such a certain way. And it was so safe, the second safest city in the country. I think it's like 9 now. I mean, I couldn't believe when I moved here. Because like, wow, I could just get out of bed at 4 in the morning and just walk around. Go to the beach, walk around this indoor-outdoor hotel lobby. And the only people you'd see is like people cleaning overnight or making deliveries overnight. Occasionally you'd have the street mutants, crazy street person. But that was really the only thing you had to worry about. I miss those simple, innocent days of just worrying about them. I don't even think about that anymore. I'm always looking around at everything else, you know. But whatever, it's not gonna, you know, my friends are more hopeful than I am. Like, they're gonna leave. No, they're not gonna be able to adjust here. And they won't be able to adjust here. I don't think they can't adjust anywhere, and it's not even their fault. You know, the prime directive was broken. We took people that weren't ready for this and put them in this, and when they can't make it in this, it causes anger, and then that means trouble for everybody else who's in this. It's the nicest way I can say it. But yeah. Before I was sidetracked by the Kang Sprawl, I was supposed to talk about my PG card collection, the digital card collection. That I'm missing a couple, and I'll trade with like other Anons if I see them, if they happen to have them. I like to flex my collection. Sometimes I'll make posts of it. And people are like, what the fuck, that's awesome. It's cool, it is cool. There's a lot of them. There's like 66 cards, I think. And I think I'm missing 6 of them. So you do that math yourself. Illuminati confirmed. Yeah, but they're cool. I'll put a couple of them on the screen here so you can see what it is. What's great about them is it's kind of funny, you know, of course. But it also has a lot of information packed into each card. So just by looking through these, you can get an idea of the whole thing, the main bullet points, locations, people involved, events. It's really brilliant, whoever came up with this. They've been around a couple of years. I've been collecting them for a couple of years. He's More than a couple years. I'm not good with time. This was pre-COVID, I think. Started collecting them. But yeah, if you're interested, let me know. I can send them to you. Until next time, thanks for dropping in. I'm gonna go wander around Ross now, like I do every day. Until next time, don't blame the teacher, blame the school. I like this vertical thing. So, I posted in my community tab this little thing saying I was going to do a live stream tonight. I was thinking it's Halloween. Tomorrow night is Halloween, not tonight. So, yeah, it'll be tomorrow. I'm doing that. What's this over here? Missing pet. Oh, it's a cat. There's a lot of missing cat things around this neighborhood. A lot of cats disappear. Of course, I think, right away. Cats are very popular for if you're doing some kind of ritual that requires blood. Cats are usually the go-to animal just because they're usually floating around neighborhoods and they're pretty easy to procure. I've never done anything like that. I mean, I don't do anything that is blood sacrifice, or any kind of sacrifice. Never done anything like that. That's crazy. That's black magic. And I know you'll find those guys that are like, there is no black magic. It's the enlightened man is beyond good and evil. That just sounds to me like you want to fucking touch kids. And that ain't good. I think that goes without saying. I'm gonna run to the store here, I'll be right back.